Hey everybody, it's Jean. I'm back and welcome. I'm going to show you some very simple tags that I made. And these are little recipe cards that were all connected. I just cut them off where it was easy to make the cut. It left a little bit of a piece there, so I made some smaller tags out of that piece that was left, which I didn't do anything with, but I'm just showing you I made them. But anyway, so I've got a whole packet of these great tags, so it's going to be fun to make a lot of tags with this. I have a box of things that I need to use up, and I have a much bigger box underneath my desk, which I did use. I used so much of my stash to make these, and these are just very simple, just fun little tags. And I love journal tags. I love to use them, and I love to send them, and it's just fun for me to have tags. And I haven't made any in a long time, or anything. So anyway, if you remember from the other video, I bought this book cover, and I thought, ooh, this would make a nice little. This would fit on here. And so I did try it out to see. I don't know if a sideways tag is really what I want. So I kind of thought about it, and I thought, no, I can use that somewhere else, which would be much more effective. I would have to cut off some of those bullet holes and things like that. So I kind of rejected that right off the bat. So I picked up another thing. I had bought some of these cards, and I had a whole box of them. So just tearing them up is not a big deal. And the first tag that I used here has pre-printed color on both sides. So I like that. And I thought, well, since I just eyeballed it when I cut it off of the stack of what do you call it? Stack of recipes, recipe cards. When I just cut it, I just eyeballed it. So I thought I'll just make sure that this one is nice and straight across the top, and that way we won't have any issues later after I make the tag. So of course it cut just a little bit jagged, and I trimmed it a little bit, but that's how it goes. No big deal. But then I cut my tag off, and I took this little piece and I used it as a template for cutting the other side, and that way they match exactly. Now normally I'm not real fussy about things like that, but I'm going to tell you, I have cut so many tags awkwardly, and one side way bigger than the other. It looks fine when I'm cutting it, and I hold it up straight, and it's not. So this is just easy, and then it's straight, and it only takes just a second. Just keep that little piece and reverse it for the other side. For the rest of the tags, I just use the tag that I cut for a template, and just cut all the rest of the tags easily that way. So that's a great way to do it. I like making tags in. Oh, there goes my air conditioning. I should probably just turn that off, but I don't think you guys really mind. So anyway, there's all the tags. They're all cut. They're all ready to go. And I'm ready to start. Gonna have my morning coffee. Hope that's not too noisy. So anyway, I don't know why I kept this in when I edited it, kept in all this cutting. But as you can see, I decided to just go ahead and leave the color on that one and just start from there and not worry about covering it. So all I needed to do was cover up those words and kind of get started. And I had this painty paper that was sent to me in Happy Mail. And oh my goodness, it's so pretty. Both sides are really, really pretty. I loved the yellow side better originally. I think you'll see, I'll turn it over here in a minute. But the purple side and the silver side, I think, worked out better for me. Just because there was a lot of pencil marks cutting it on the other side. So I didn't use the yellow. I used the purple with the little shimmery silver on it. So it actually worked out better when later for the picture that I chose. So I'm glad I did choose. I'm glad I did use the purple. I like to put a little strip on there. I normally don't leave straight sides, but I did cut the top and the bottom. I did tear the top and the bottom on that one. And I left the sides straight. This one, I really apologize for doing a voiceover. I'm just kind of watching it as you are and trying to tell you a little bit about it. So I may get a little mixed up. Now I've got the little coughing, which I normally can edit out because I have issues with my throat. So I try to edit out all that ugly coughing and throat clearing and that sort of thing. I know I probably don't edit enough of it out. But now I pulled out my scrap papers, and these are pieces that are just left over. Some are small, some are big. And I'm using up my stash, and I'm very happy about that. So it's always hard to make a choice. But one thing I do like is I like the pattern paper. A lot of people, kind of moved on from that maybe, but I like pattern paper. And so this, to me, is fun to use it. I think it's very effective, makes a nice little background. I could work a lot harder on these, but I'm just making simple tags today. Even with the pattern paper, you could splatter it, stamp it, put a little gesso on it. You could make it very detailed, but these are just simple little tags. I just want to make a nice group of simple tags, and this was fun for me. I was working late at night. I was up, and I'm trying to relax enough to get sleepy. But of course I didn't, and I ended up doing these in 2 sessions because it took so long to do. So anyway, here we are, and I'm gluing this down. I picked out the yellow paper, which I thought was very pretty, the yellow stripe. And one thing I didn't pay too much attention to, and I didn't really notice it was a problem later, but if you're going to use something that's a stripe, you want to place it very carefully on the paper, which I didn't really do. And you can see I've got a advertising card there that seems to be in the way throughout this whole video, or throughout half the video anyway. But yeah, you lay it on the back, and if I had been thinking about it, I would have laid it on the far edge, and then you know it's straight because it's straight on the sides and it's straight on the paper sides. So that would have been the best place to lay it. Moving on, I made the next one pink, and same thing. And I'm kind of looking for what kind of paper I want to embellish it with, and I loved this black with the pink flowers. This is a Mary Englebright pattern, which I just happen to love. Anyway, I think I maybe would have put a little bit bigger piece on there if I was rethinking it, but at the time that seemed perfectly adequate, and so that's what I did. I used that. So I'm gluing and getting it all on there. It's very important to glue all the way to the edge, and I'm constantly finding myself lifting and adding glue here and there to different pieces. Even when I'm going through my books later, sometimes the edge lifts because I don't quite get it on there really well. It's always better to glue both sides, but with the tags, I don't like to glue both sides, especially when you're gluing on pattern paper. And because even though the glue dries clear, it does leave a little bit of a residue. So I only glued on the one side when I put the little pieces on. This tag, I love this blue paper, and I kind of put it on there a little bit crooked. So if you see, I'm pushing it down just a little bit. It's nice when you have the glue's wet, it slides just a hair. And when I originally trimmed it, I trimmed it a little bit close, so I kind of had to redo that extra little piece on the bottom. Doesn't really matter. A little Bohemian Rhapsody there. But I liked how it turned out. It's a little bit crooked, and I did find it's kind of a busy background, and I kind of wasn't sure what to put on it, and I thought, well, you know what, I'm not going to put that extra piece of paper on it because I'm going to use this Thinker guy. I liked it and I wanted to use it, and I cut it out, and I've been dying to use it, so I went ahead and put it on there, and I didn't add any extra paper behind it because the Thinker is so big. I have the Thinker sculpture that I keep in my garden. It's all black, and I kind of tuck it away for people to find if they're walking by. They might not notice it unless they really look, and then it's a little surprise. So I was really happy to find this, and I did do one of my tags with the Thinker, because I don't know why. Even when I was a kid, I thought that was a neat sculpture. I tend to think because I used to sit around and just think about things. I am a thinker. I ponder things. I have no trouble just sitting on a bench and pondering things and thinking about things. So I think the Thinker is kind of one of my favorite sculptures. So anyway, so that's that tag. Then I've got these 4 made up, and for some reason I missed showing you. I must have deleted making the 5th tag, but you can see it in the background there underneath the Thinker, and that was the 5th tag. So moving on to the next step, I've got all the tags assembled there, and I'm just adding a little bit of ephemera to the tags, because the more little pieces that you put on there, the more interesting the tag is, I think. Some I do and some I don't. It just depends on the tag and the piece that I choose for my focal. And this one, I had picked out some stamps, but I didn't like the busyness of the stamps that I chose, so these are printed stamps that I just cut out, and I thought they worked perfectly. Then I found this, and the shadows in her on this picture are on a purple tone, so they worked out really nice with that, and I decided to go ahead and use it. It was a little long, so I cut off the dress and tucked it behind that flower, and put that on. Oh, goodness. So anyway, I liked how that turned out, and that came out really perfect. So the next thing that I did, I'm trying to move into another room because someone just came in. I've kind of lost my place here. So the next thing here, I'm moving on to this yellow one, and I like the little bag, and that turned out to be exactly what I wanted. And I have a few more pieces of ephemera that I picked out. This one I thought needed a little more because the pencil was so thin. So I added several pieces of ephemera. I loved this painted paper strip that was in my Happy Mail, and I tore off just the top, and I don't even want to get rid of the little top piece, the little extra, and so I added it at the bottom there just for a little extra fun. And I thought the little pencil is so cute and so perfect for a tag that you're going to journal on. And then looking around, I'm not one to normally put stickers on tags, but I found the perfect little sticker there, and yeah. It's because it has a different texture. It's a little more shiny, and I don't think it works out real well normally. But in that particular tag, I think it did. It was just right. Okay, onward to my little Chinese man, whom I just love. And I just think he's so cute, sitting there half in the lotus position. Contemplating. He's kind of my little thinker, my little Asian thinker, and I really liked him. I didn't know, I kind of liked that pink jagged lightning bolt, which I thought would be cute, but then I thought, no, I'm really looking for butterflies. That was my very first thought, and while I was looking for the butterflies, I saw that lightning bolt. So I rejected the lightning bolt, and I put on the butterflies. And I'm not even quite sure. I think this might be my favorite little tag out of all of them. I don't know. Each one is so different. I find it hard to pick favorites, but I just like each one. I was really happy with how they all turned out. But again, these are stickers, but these aren't the shiny ones, but they do have like a little white border around the sticker. So, but it's like a soft, almost a see-through kind of a sticker. And they just fit in everywhere, and the white wasn't too awful. Now his little sword stuck out, so I tore it off and I made, like, instead of the sword going behind his knee, I just made it go in front of his knee, and you can see the whole sword there, and that's kind of that was kind of fun. But I thought maybe I should do something with that white edge. So I have this very soft gray marker, and it is just perfect for this. It's not, I think that wide black strip would have been way too much, and this just softens it, blends it in, and I thought it looked perfect. So I was really happy with that. So it's just kind of fun to see how things work out as I'm working, and I played around with that just a little bit. I just really had fun making these tags. Each one is just such a different tag, and I kind of, it's almost like journaling by fives the way I made these tags, because each step I did on all five, and then went back and did the next step on all five. And to me, that's just kind of an easier way of doing things. I didn't decorate this one too much because I didn't want to take away from his contemplative expression, and you really kind of have to look closely at him to see how he's placed and how he's sitting on that little tuffet that has the little tiny feet on it. But I did outline him a little bit, and I think that the foot really came out quite a bit on the smaller, or the one this against the pink. You can see a little bit better. A little bit of a black edging is all I wanted. I didn't want a wide black edging, so just as I draw these, it just comes out very, very narrow on there. This is usually where I slip and the pen goes across the across the tag. But for some reason I did pretty well on this. I tried to go slow. I tried to be mindful of that. And it's never a disaster if it happens, because you can always put something over the slip, almost always. So there we go. And that's that just makes it a little more effective, and it makes the whole thing pop. Just that little tiny black edge. Now I'm going to do all five so that you can see, and we'll just take time to watch all five tags get their edges. Oh goodness, this one was a really hard video to edit. Oh, I had all kinds of trouble editing this video. It has taken me several days. This should have been up on Sunday, and then I was gone on Monday all day, and found out that I duplicated many of the things instead of deleting parts of it, so it was like a 3-hour video. And I had to go back and readjust it and all that. It's not easy. It's not easy to do edited videos. But I'm going to tell you, if you saw the raw version, you'd run screaming and saying, I can't believe how she does this. But now see how I just love that. You kind of see how little hands are coming around her. When I cut her out, I thought I'll put something over those hands so you won't see it. But as it turned out, I loved how it did look like the hands were coming out of that purple strip and reaching around and grabbing her, and she has the perfect expression. So she's really fun. She's really fun to do to have. I was really happy with that one. I'm happy with all of them. I just like them all. So next, putting a little bit of inspirational words or fun words on each one. It took forever to look through my box to find the words that I liked the best. And I did try to definitely edit that and go pick out words before I glued everything on. And this was really this is just, all of it is the fun part. Putting the backgrounds on is the fun part. Putting the focal pieces on is the fun part. Putting the ephemera around it is the fun part. I think edging it is probably not a real fun part. But choosing your inspirational word and gluing that on, that's the fun part too. It gives it meaning. It gives it that little bit of extra for me. So the mummy, I couldn't believe. I mean, I searched forever for something for her, and then I came across that little mummy thing I had cut out. I had picked up a book of Egyptian stuff and I remember cutting out the mummy thinking, well, I'll never use that. But you cut out these words and you throw them in the box, and it was perfect for her, for that one. So this little Asian piece of ephemera there, it actually says, is it what is God or who is God? And of course he's thinking and he's puzzling over it. So I thought that was just exceptionally perfect for that one. And this was too white. This one was too white. I didn't really like it, so I darkened that up a little bit. Not real evenly. And I didn't want to make it too obvious. So there, he's just, that's just what he's thinking about. What if this? What if that? What if? Puzzling over the mysteries of life. So I liked all these, and of course each one now has to be outlined. So I kind of thought, if I keep these all in a group, I would put 2 holes at the top and tie a ribbon through both holes, and then let you flip to see them. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give them to you guys. To anybody who wants one, you can just let me know the one you'd like to have, or just if you want any one of them, doesn't matter. And I will send out all these to you guys. They're all fun. And so I didn't put any holes in the top. I just left them as is, and you can decide if you want to put a hole in the top and a ribbon through it, or if you want to leave it where it's all good to write on. The backs, of course, had writing on the back, so I just took an old paper bag. I love the brown paper. I love to write on the brown paper bag material, and so I went ahead and I just you want to get the edges really good. Again, always get the edges really good. And I put these I backed them all in the brown paper. And I just kind of cut them out loosely to let them set a little bit, because I like to let the glue dry thoroughly before I trim that paper off. It just seems to do better. So again, you get to watch me do each and every teeny little step here. And punch it down. Oh, another thing I would do, now that I'm looking at it, I don't know why I didn't pick up my roller and roll that really well, because that would have been so much easier than just trying to press it down. Those little rollers are just awesome. But on the back, these little wrinkles did smooth out very nicely. Even after they sat for a little bit. So that was kind of nice. I was happy with that. I wasn't going to do anything with the one that was already pre-printed because it had a nice silver back, but I decided to go ahead and put the brown paper on the back of it, because it's just a much better writing surface. It's the other one was kind of shiny. I think it would be hard to write on it. So so I did go ahead and glue that down and cover up just the plain silver back just as well. I find it, you could have sanded it a little bit if you really wanted to write on it or make it a tag, but this was fine. This was fine. I just glued that on there and smoothed that all out. And then I went back after they were pretty dry and trimmed them out. Just really easy. It's so it just gives it a nice little finished look to it. I don't think I showed you the cutting out of each one. I hope not. Your guess is as good as mine, because I'm not even sure where I'm at in these videos right now. And if it just runs out and I'm in the middle of talking, I can't do anything about that. But I do thank you for... Oh, here is where I went ahead and outlined the tags. I've got a big recording sticker thing over there, and I thought I had already showed you that. But yeah, now is where I go through and outline each one of those pieces. It makes them pop. I don't like a big outline. Well, sometimes I do. Sometimes I like 2 or 3 lines around each one. This one I didn't outline the what if. I just put like a little faux stitching border. This one's a little plainer than all of the rest of them. But I think it's just as effective. I like it just as well. And I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun. I love doing this. So the stamps needed a little bit of extra touch up, I thought, when I looked at it a second time. So each one gets that extra little edging there that makes it stand out just a little bit more. This, I think, really did help on this one. I think it also makes it look like it's supposed to be there. It's meant to be there. It's not just stuck on. So anyway, that's how I do things. That's not how everybody does things. That's how I do things. And these aren't fancy. These aren't hard to do. This is an easy way to use up your stash. And this is how they all turned out. I sure thank you guys for watching. Like and comment if you'd like to. In the comments, let me know if you want one of these and which one. And if there's a duplicate request, of course, I'll do a drawing. The first 5 people who ask for them will get one. So it's up to you. if you want to request a certain one, or just any one of the 5 is fine. And you'll have to, I'll put my email at the bottom in the box. Just email me if you want it. Okay? Thanks. Goodbye, everybody. So fun to talk with you.